Today on Homeworthy, we're heading to St. Louis, Missouri to visit the home of interior designer Amy Studebaker. 6 years ago, after touring over 100 homes, Amy and her family moved into this house and made it their own. Amy is known for her talent in layering color and pattern, all while blending new and antique finds. She has created a home that is fresh, inviting, and timeless. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Amy. I live in St. Louis, Missouri, and I would enjoy taking you on a tour of my home. Hi, I'm Amy Studebaker, and I own Amy Studebaker Design, which is an interior design firm. We are located in St. Louis, Missouri, so both my home as well as my firm is here. So about 6 years ago, my husband and I purchased this home, and we live here with our son, who is 10 and a half, and our furry little friend Biscuit, who you might actually see running around throughout this tour. I'm truly one that just loves to find beautiful things. That's how I approach life. I approach design for myself and my clients. But when it comes to my own personal home, I love a very fresh, traditional feel. I love bold color, I love pattern layering, but I love to just enrich that with antiques that tell a story, tell history, and really make a warm, collected space. Welcome to our entryway. So my husband and I, as I had mentioned, purchased this home 6 years ago. When we were searching for a home, we were very particular about some of the qualities that we needed. We looked at over 100 homes. I think this home was in that first 30, and I was like, no, I need to keep looking. After home 109, I called him back on the phone. I called my husband and I said, I'm done searching. Remember that home that we looked at? Let's just buy it. And so he said yes, and we became very excited. So two of the characteristics that we were looking for in a home was a home that had age to it, because I love, again, like I said earlier, antiques, I love history, so I wanted a home that had some history, but I also, of course, needed a house that had the need for renovation. I wasn't just gonna walk in and put furniture. I needed to be able to gut a house and really give it sort of our take and what we needed in the house. So when we selected this house, it had both of those qualities. This one is from the 50s, and what I love about the 50s is that you're going to walk in and you're going to find fabulous wood doors. You're going to find original hardwood. You are probably going to have plaster walls and plaster moldings, and those were things that just are so my language in design that I knew I had to have it. But what I also love about the 50s is that you're really not going to find a lot of surprises behind the walls. So we were sold, and so what began was the renovation in the foyer when you enter. So what I love about our foyer is, number one, it has wood flooring. I did paint the wood flooring, but because we don't have a lot of windows in this space, I wanted to create a larger feel. So by painting the floors white, the light that does come in bounces off, it reflects, and it makes it feel grander. I added this wonderful pattern, because in history you will find a lot of painted floors. And so it's a detail that really makes me happy whenever we walk into the home. So then I'm going to transition you over to this wall. So originally this wall was open right here, and it went into the dining room. We decided not to use that space as a dining room. It's my husband's office. And what we found when we closed this wall off, though, was that, again, it elongated the space, it made it feel grander. And then what I wanted to do from there was create a gallery wall. So this gallery wall is very special to me. I'm not sure why, but I really have this love for art depicting birds, ships, lighthouses. And so when I travel, whether I'm traveling for purchasing furniture for my clients' homes or just traveling for myself, I gather artwork. And so I've been collecting birds and egg prints, also older oil paintings, and I've been collecting them and adding them to this wall. Kind of a fun little detail is that I'm leaving spaces so that I can continue to collect, because I am one that really feels like my house will continue growing over time. So these little pieces will start to fill in over here. I also love pieces that are larger than what you would expect in a space. So I put this oversized mirror in here to, again, really help with any light that came into the room, creating a reflection and then breaking up a little bit of the gallery. Down here, you'll find more of some of my favorite pieces that are just from various things and travels. The majority of this space is original to the home. So with regards to the staircase, it was a characteristic that I wanted to maintain and keep and just enhance. So I love a formal banister in a black high gloss. So we painted the banister, and then I just put a fresh coat of white paint on the spindles. And you'll also notice that I have painted the actual staircase as well. Because again, I just felt like by painting everything white, it was really enlarging the space and helping with that bouncing of light. Another thing that we did in here is that we have added applied moldings all throughout the house. So we had the original plasterwork, but I wanted to enhance that by applying more moldings to really help take like our 8-foot ceiling height and elongate it. And so I went ahead and added the applied molding up our staircase wall as well. One thing that I always tell my clients when I either take them shopping or I'm shopping for them is that buy things that you love. Even if you don't know exactly where you're going to place it, buy the things you love, put it in your home, and you will always walk by it and just have a smile on your face. So I was out shopping in Atlanta, and I ran across these English bamboo chairs. My heart stopped, and I said, I have to have those. I have no idea where they're going to go, but I have to have them. So I purchased them, didn't tell my family, came home, and I thought, okay, they are going to go in this foyer, but my foyer is really small. I don't know if this is going to work. So my boys were playing video games one night, and I was secretly in here taking garden stools and pillows and placing them right here at about the same size as the chairs, and just watching my family like walk back and forth. No one knocked into them. So one day the chairs arrive, I switch out the garden stools for chairs, and they found their home, and they make me so happy every time I walk by them. And I think that they add a wonderful layer, because anytime you can put furniture in a space, I think it just makes it feel very welcoming. Now I would love to show you all my powder room, so follow me. This is our formal powder room, and it's a tiny little space, but it has a wonderful jewel box effect in here. So I started with the wallpaper. This was a wall covering that I have been looking at for quite some time, and I just fell in love with all of the blue and whites and just the whole floral viney feel to it. But what really excited me actually after I selected this wallpaper was that I learned a little bit about the history. So it is a Schumacher wallpaper, and this pattern was actually featured in the Gone with the Wind home in the entry. So different colorway in Gone with the Wind, but it was the same pattern. So when I found out that little tidbit, it made me even more excited about my space. It's a lovely beginning for the design. So what I did though, furthermore with that was I really loved the blue and white. So I played off just the blue and white in the space. So the trim work is one of the shades of blue. The vanity is the same as is the mirror to really just make the space feel like one wonderful cohesive jewel box. When I'm creating tiny little spaces and making an impact, I really love to use the same color but in different saturation levels. So in this space, I used two different blues. One is a lighter blue from the wall covering, and then one is a deeper blue from the wall covering. So my ceiling has the lighter blue, and then all of the trim work as well as the vanity and mirror are the deeper, richer, saturated blue. When we were moving into the home, we knew that we wanted to renovate, as I had mentioned, and we gutted 90% of the house. So the powder room was, of course, one of them. I was running out of time and I needed a vanity. And so instead of sitting down to design one, I said, you know what, I'm going to go to a local antique store and I'm going to make something happen. So I was so fortunate. I walked into a local store and I found a wonderful little vanity, or little console table actually, that was the perfect size. And I said, that is my vanity. I am making it happen and it's going to be beautiful. And I will say it's now a conversation piece. When people enter this space, they always comment on it and ask where I've got it. And I'm like, it's a little vintage find. Now I'll take you to the kitchen. This is my kitchen. And I feel like it's a really special space. I don't cook, full disclosure, but we are in the refrigerator, constantly in the pantry. And of course, like many homes, it is a gathering spot. One of the first design details that I really tackled in the space was eliminating upper cabinets. Because I really do not cook and I don't need a lot of utensils and I don't need a lot of items for that, I really could eliminate a lot of storage for our family by not having the uppers. So we took down the upper cabinets and then really relied on everything below counter to keep everything tidy. So when we did that, I wanted to make sure that my hood had a wonderful shape to it. This just makes me, again, so happy. And I feel like you guys might hear that a lot because I just truly do things that put a smile on my face, make us enjoy our home. And so this hood was a fabulous shape that we went with, and I felt like worked wonders in here. To accentuate the hood, we added sconces on either side, which I think lighting is so important. And so when I'm working on our home or any client's home, we really attack all levels of lighting. So my space needed to have sconces as well as, of course, the overheads. This whole area back here is also, I think, a fabulous detail. So I added this brass bar where some of the items that we might not have storage now for, because I took down the uppers, can hang. So we have some of our wonderful copper items that we use whenever we are making something that's sitting out. I also love to place wonderful oils and such on trays. I think that a kitchen needs to have some accessories sitting out but not be overly done. So anytime you can use something that you physically use on a daily basis and have it sitting out in a lovely way, I think really enhances a kitchen. So we'll have some of our utensils sitting out. We have some of our, like I said, oil bottles. And then my little coffee area over here where I make my espresso every morning. Looking down, we painted our floor in here. So as you guys might start to see the trend as you're walking through, I love a painted floor. They're not for everyone, but they are very much for us because I just love pattern. And if I can put a wall-to-wall pattern on the floor, then that makes me really excited and I think really adds interest to the space. So in our kitchen, what we did was it was two different blues and a white. And so we painted the cabinetry one of the blues that is in the floor, and then we used the same white that is on the walls and the ceiling. And it really makes for, I think, an interesting space. It also eliminates the need for rugs, which I find to be very nice in a kitchen where it can get dirty from all of the traffic. Up on the walls, I wanted to place art. And so this was a painting that my husband and I both really, really fell in love with. Like, he loved the bright colors and I love a still life with fruit. So this was one that clearly made perfect sense to lean in our kitchen and really be a focal point of the art in the space. It's the largest piece and, you know, it just makes me happy, like I've been saying. Our kitchen island is great. It's a wonderful size for us. My son loves to sit here at the bar stool and have breakfast. And sometimes in the evening when it's just two of us, if maybe I'm running errands and Nick is sitting here with Augie, they'll have dinner right here. So it's been a wonderful, special space for us. Going back to function, I love, again, like setting things out that we use. So our island centerpiece has become a wonderful place to put collected items. So whether it's a silver piece that I gathered on a shopping trip, where typically it's not in there now, but typically I keep like shallots or little onions in there, to like our fruit bowl, and then special pieces that I've collected on my travels. It's just, again, like a wonderful way to make a kitchen feel homey, and for us, really make it functional too. One area that's been fantastic with our island is, of course, having this great seating. I just love it when my son comes in here and sits at the table while I'm doing something in the kitchen and we chat. But these are wonderful stools. They have this great lattice work detail on the back, and they are from mainly baskets. So they've been a really great piece for us to be able to utilize. And I'm very excited with the timing of when you guys came. I was able to have my cushions made. So these are new cushions from the Textiles Designers Guild. And I love the layer of color and florals in here. I think it just, I don't know, it feels fabulous. So in this space, I wanted to be able to create a little bit more depth on this side of the room. I felt like it was too open to the other side of the house, and I wanted it to maintain, this is the kitchen and this is our dining room. So I created this wonderful millwork paneling detail where I brought it in from the opening so that we had defined areas, and also allowed for some more color on this wall because it was just a simple white wall, and I felt like it really needed to have cabinetry or color to it. So what I did do though, like at first was just going to be millwork, and then I decided, oh, I can actually store some items in this area because I have a lot of servingware. So what I did, and I don't know what it looks like inside, I'm gonna open it for you guys, no judging, but I'll show you. So what we did was, on the inside, we created some storage to house some of our servingware, of our silver and different items. And so it's been a wonderful addition to storing different items that I didn't anticipate needing to store, but also really creating some architectural interest in this space. I would now love to take you all out to my porch. Welcome to our porch. I love this space, y'all. I am very much someone that loves to be outside, and so any moment of the day that I can be out here on this porch, it really just fills my heart and makes me just feel so good and so happy. So this is an area that on Saturday mornings, my son and I come out here and we snuggle on the sofa, or in the evenings, some nights when we have time, we can. My husband, son, and I will sit out here and we will have dinner. We love it for a couple of reasons. One, we have a wonderful view of a park behind us, which is so peaceful. And then also it's just the privacy of being in our backyard and being surrounded by some of these plants. So I will say, I do not have a green thumb. I do not know how to plant any of the plants, but I do know how to water them. So they are watered frequently. I can handle that. But I love the greenery and I love being surrounded by it. The other thing that I do really enjoy is selecting planters. I don't know if you guys can see back here, but I love finding antique planters and unique ones. So I have collected those over time on my many travels. I even have some on either side of the sofa too. But so this is the sofa that I love snuggling with my 10-year-old on. I'm so glad that he still wants to snuggle mama. It makes my heart so happy. So we'll sit out here and we will read books. We even watch outdoor movies out here. So it's really a place for us that's filled with a lot of our special moments and special memories. And even Biscuit here, when I'm making my morning coffee, Biscuit will run past me or run up to the door, and he will wait at the door until I open it for him, and he'll dart out here, and he's not doing it now, but he will sit on the sofa and just watch people. Like, it's his happy spot too. So it's been a really good area for us to live and enjoy. Welcome to our dining room. This is an area that I feel like a lot of people don't typically use. But a little detail about Nick and I, when we purchased our home, we wanted to make sure we purchased a size of home that was one where we utilized every room. So our dining room is a space that when we were having family over, whether it's for Thanksgiving or just having a few friends over, we actually really utilize it, and we love it in here. So we wanted it to feel like a little bit of a library. I wanted it to have a moody feel. And so I started with this wonderful bookcase made of bird's eye maple that I found on a buying trip in Atlanta. I got this for a steal. The person was moving out of their booth and they did not want to lug it back across the United States. So I was like, I will put it on my truck and I will take it home. And so here it is. One thing I love is that I painted the inside green because I just love the softness of green, and you'll see that in some of the different areas of my dining room. When I decorated it, we, again, keeping with the library feel, I used these old wonderful books that came from a company in Atlanta. I wish I could remember the name because I would tell you guys. So we used these wonderful warm books, and then I did a few different details in here, like this wonderful portrait of this older gentleman, just because, again, I feel like a portrait feels very library-esque, and I love layers. So layering in silver and old books and portraits, I felt was really very special. Now, another little detail that's about this cabinet that's fun. This area was left pretty much for my son and I, for him to have fun with. So depending upon the season, it's filled with different types of items. So right now, with it being summer, we are prepared for s'mores and bonfires. In the winter, you're going to find a hot cocoa bar. So that's a little detail that we love in here. Moving around, you are going to notice that in this room, we had added beams. So the original structure had an I-beam right back here, and it was such an eyesore. Whoever built it didn't really take the time to hide it, so it turned into like a fun detail for myself. So I decided, let's add beams. I know that this is only an 8-foot ceiling, but I am not afraid of bringing it down even lower because I think it makes it unique. So I took the I-beam and I boxed it in. I added another beam, and then we added the joist beams, and I think it just gives it a really great moody vibe, and it feels really good. Especially with the fact that we painted it in this really great blue, which again is the blue that's on our kitchen cabinets and on our pattern on the floor. So I mentioned that I love green, and I love that you'll see more green in this space. So we have this fabulous Pierre Frey wall covering, which I absolutely love, and so does Nick and Augie, which, kind of a funny story. We got the price point back on it, and we were a little like, let's investigate other wallpapers, and I brought samples home. My son looked at the wall samples and said, "Family, we do not like any of these other papers as much as we like this Pierre Frey, and you have told me that when you're going to be in a home forever, you spend it on what you love. So we need this Pierre Frey wallpaper." So we ended up with the Pierre Frey wallpaper, and it was the perfect decision because it makes us all really happy and we enjoy it. So moving about the space, we have back here a chest of drawers that holds all of my napkins, tablecloths, all of those details. So it's great storage. So dining room chairs are something that I feel like can be a little hard to find. I really wanted to save a little bit of money on my dining room chairs. So I actually selected these wonderful rattan chairs that I had sprayed in my own custom color. Again, it's the green. I love the green. It goes so well with our wall covering and just the details in the bookcase. But to customize the chairs a little bit further and make them more interesting, I added these darling slip covers. My love for Pierre Frey did not stop on the walls. That is what this textile is from. It's from Pierre Frey. And one thing I loved about this pattern was that on the bolt, it had a border, and I didn't know about it until I got the fabric. And so when we found out I had a border, there are these wonderful little tie details that we were able to add out of the border material. So it made it even more special. The tablecloth is actually from Pomegranate Home. It's not a custom tablecloth, but I loved the pattern so much that I layered two together and then I draped it down to the floor for just a little bit more of a formal feel, which I love a mix of formality as well as casualness, because I think it's what elevates a home but allows it to still be very comfortable. Now, when you're looking above the table, this is an antique chandelier that I found locally. I was actually eyeing this chandelier for a good year in the shop, and it was too tall for my ceilings. And so I finally said, Amy, you customize all the time. Why are you not customizing the chandelier? So I pulled the trigger, I purchased the chandelier, and I gave it to one of our fabricators to trim down the rods that you see up here so that it would fit my ceiling height. And every day I am so glad that I did that, because I think it's just the perfect mix of, again, a formal and casual feel in my space. So sort of how I told you guys earlier, when I'm shopping, I love to find things that I just love. I was perusing, again, a local antique shop, and I came across this wonderful antique desk. I loved this little gallery rail made of brass. I thought it was so charming and darling. And I love that this had a leather top and even a wonderful brass detail on the legs. So I said, I'm buying it. I'm finding a home for it. And it turned out to be the most fabulous little bar in our dining room that has really helped complete the whole space. But I have two drawers that have a little bit of storage, and I have tucked this wonderful ottoman underneath here. I love mustard, and so I felt like this dining room just needed like that bold bit of mustard in here. So that's kind of tucked under for a layer. But on top of my bar, I will be honest, I've mostly collected just really beautiful bottles, or bottles that I think are beautiful. So I love this one with this rattan base and the wonderful red top to it. I have not opened it. I have not opened half of these, but I think that they make for a fabulous decorative look. With regards to what's above the bar, I found this wonderful antiqued mirror. And again, how I love sort of filling corners with oversized pieces. I really wanted to maximize the height from the floor all the way up to the ceiling. Nick was very adamant at first. He's like, this cannot go here. We're not doing this. It's going to look terrible. I'm like, no, it's going to fit. Like, it's going to fit and be beautiful. And so he finally, he said, all right, do your thing. I did it, and you guys should have seen it during Christmas time. I had garland, I had oranges hanging from it. It was really very spectacular, and I still find it spectacular too without the Christmas decor, but a really great little nook in our house. A lot of my designer friends, I feel like they're very fortunate because they are the ones that make all of the design decisions in their home. I am not one that necessarily gets to do that in my house. My husband, I love him, but he is very, very opinionated when it comes to our home and our design decisions. So we really try to work collaboratively together so that we can both find enjoyment in all of the selections that we're making. But I will say there is definitely a challenge when it comes to some of the selections. And I'm even going to go as far enough to say that some of the rooms of our house are not done yet because we have not necessarily agreed on the selections. And so I just step away until it's time, and then we figure it out. So let's head into my living room. I'm excited to show y'all that space. Welcome to our living room. In our home, this is our main gathering spot. We do not have a family room. We only have a living room, and I still call it a living room because I love the formal feel of that. But when designing this space, I wanted to make sure that one, it had a little bit of a formal feel, but also felt very welcoming. So again, when we have family over and friends, like this is where we're sitting, this is where we're watching TV, this is where we're doing everything. So as you're looking around the room, you're going to see that I've really layered in a lot of seating. I have a wonderful blue velvet sofa that is so comfortable and cozy. I'm a sucker for velvet though. I love velvet. So we're on here all the time. I've also made sure to include club chairs and accent chairs, and again, like a mix of new and old. This chair is a fun one. This actually, some of y'all might recognize it. It came from the Kips Bay Show House from Palm Beach last year. So I had it in my room, and I was like, it's definitely making its way to St. Louis because of this darling ruffle and the fabulous color detail that we have. While we're in this corner, I'm going to show you guys something. It's sort of a funny story. As you guys have maybe seen me on Instagram, we have a wonderful following, and I love our followers. And so I had a message come in one day, and a follower said, "Oh my gosh, Amy, you have to click on this link and take a look at this painting. I have found your doppelganger." And I was like, no way. So I click on the link, I go to this auction, and we find this portrait being held for auction. And my mouth just dropped. I showed my husband, he's like, "Oh my gosh, that looks like you. It's like, could be your aunt, it could be your grandmother." And he's like, "We have to buy this." I'm like, no. We don't need to buy it. He goes, "No, we have to buy it, and we're putting it in our living room because it's going to be a conversation piece." And so I said, okay, but I feel a little weird making a conversation about myself in our living room. He goes, "We're doing it." So we did it. We won by like just a split second, to the point where I almost wanted to tell the other person, like, "Do you understand? Like, this portrait looks like me. Please back off." But we got the painting. So we got the painting and we hung it, and it truly has been a conversational piece. People are always asking, "Is that your grandmother? Is that your mom?" But no, I don't know who she is. I would love to know the history of her though, and I keep telling myself that someday I am going to see if I can track her down, because it is a signed painting. So we'll see if I can figure it out one day. I do joke though that on the other side, which we do not currently have a piece of art, I think I mentioned earlier, as a designer, my house will probably continue to be added upon. I sort of joke that I need to find Nick's doppelganger so that he can have his portrait over there too. So maybe one day, if y'all see a piece, send it my way. So over here, this is a console table that we had made, and I really use it to be able to, of course, put our portraits, our family out, special pieces to me. I love silver items. I love interesting items. This one spoke to me because it had the little lion head with the ring on it. And so I'm very much just a collector of things that are small and tiny and cute. And so I would say I'm a maximalist for sure, because I can keep layering in the accessories, even just layering in books. I love the ottomans that are below here on my console table. And then of course, like, I just layer them with books to just make it more and more full. I think it's really makes a cozy space. So when I am out shopping, I really enjoy a portrait, as I had mentioned to you guys, in my dining room. And so we decided to add additional portraits to the one that looks like me into the room. So this painting is affectionately called Fish Boy. And when my son sometimes forgets that there's a painting above the sofa and he flips his legs, we are always like, "Watch out for Fish Boy." And he's like, "Oh, sorry, Fish Boy." And so we talk to Fish Boy as if he is a living human being. But he's been really wonderful above our sofa. And then I flanked Fish Boy with intaglios. I find intaglios to be very interesting. And so I felt like this was a really quiet moment with an intaglio next to such a striking piece above the sofa. Which then you guys can see I furthermore flanked with brass sconces. I just love like a really good full wall, and I love, like I said, levels of lighting. I think it's very important in a home to have levels of lighting, and so you'll see lots of the different lights with the sconces and the lamps, and then again overhead lights. My cocktail table. So, kind of a funny story. You know how most people are telling their children, "Be careful, don't scratch this, don't mess this up." I really don't ever have to say that to my son. And so we got this cocktail table. It has a wonderful sheen to it. I accessorized everything. And within the first year, I was the one to damage the table. So I have damaged it not once, but twice on accident with various things. But I am someone that's just live in your house, enjoy it, don't worry about your items. and it will carry on and be beautiful. So if you happen to see a couple of spots, that is from me. I'm the one that did that. But what I have done with the cocktail table is I have layered accessories. So I have wonderful things like this rattan box. I think blue and white is always very interesting, and I love a little silver cap. Even though some might put this in just a dining room, I don't feel that pieces have to necessarily be in just one space because it's a serving piece. So I put it in here to keep it interesting. We have orchids, and I don't use a lot of candles, but this one scent is fabulous. So I have a little candle in here too. So when talking about lights, I think that detail is very important, not only in the type of lamp that you select, but a really wonderful shade as well. So it actually took me, I've had these lamps for several years, it actually took me 2 years to find the appropriate textile, and y'all are just in time because they arrived 3 days ago. And so now we have been enjoying these wonderful chinoiserie lamps with this great rose coming textile. It's actually a discontinued textile, and I was very excited to get my hands on it to make these fabulous shades. Now I'm going to take you back here to this little vignette of our living room. So this is, as so many things in our home, this is special to me. This was a wonderful antique Italian commode that I found out while shopping. And again, I didn't know exactly where it was going to go, but I was so in love with it and felt that it was so special that I had to purchase it. So I brought it home and placed it back here, and it was absolutely perfect. So I love this, all this marquetry detail. I think it's very special. It's unique. The fabulous marble old top just, I think, tells so much history. So I love seeing the imperfections. I love seeing the dings and nicks. I think it's just very warm. So what I've done though too is I've layered a few accessories on it, brought over another portrait. And here I layered the portrait with a very simple mirror from Restoration Hardware. Again, sort of mixing informal with formal, I think creates a wonderful casual feel. Oh, my boxes. Okay, you guys, I have these 2 wood boxes, and I have to show you this one. I'm sure there are other rounded boxes out there, but with how much I travel and shop, I honestly do not see this wonderful shape often at all. And so when I saw this, I had to get it, and it's so pretty. It's red silk lined and has this wonderful little tassel and key. So the details, I think they're so important. These are a wonderful pair of antique Italian chairs. So there were a set of 6. I only needed 2 because, in all honesty, these are super low, so you really cannot sit at a dining table with these. So I was able to purchase just 2 of these chairs and make them a really little kind of fabulous vignette. So one, it creates a really wonderful space over in this corner, but 2, they're easy to move, so I can easily pick this up and put it into the area of a conversation so that when we're having family, we can entertain. This little pillow, I'll show you guys too. This is why we can't have nice things. This was another little Kips Bay detail that we had in the room, and so I brought it home and thought it was perfect to have right here. Now, talking about lamps again, I have to show you this because again, I love so much lighting. These are the most darling little rechargeable lamps I have ever seen. I know the market is flooded with lamps right now, but the brass shade is fantastic. The brass base and the brass base down here. So all you do is like touch it on and off. It's so amazing. I also, oh yeah, wait, you guys, you can adjust the head too. So we take these all over the house. Like if we're going out for the evening, I just pick them up, we go outside, we put them here. So they're like little travelers with us. It's perfect for entertaining. I would love to show you all my second level. So let's head on upstairs now. Welcome to our second level foyer. So many homes on the second level that we were looking at had pretty much a hallway only directed to all the different rooms. But this one had this wonderful space at the top, something that I could actually call pretty much a room and a full second level foyer. So I think it feels more like a place that you want to go to upstairs. It's not like you just go up the stairs and have to go into a room. You can kind of go up here and hang out in this space. So it's been wonderful to be able to fill it with furniture. I'll show you this piece over here. So this was, again, another Atlanta find when I was shopping. I saw it, I felt like I just had to have it because I loved this detail of the framework. I loved the hardware and even just the unique size. And so purchased it, brought it back home, placed it here, and then we've made it even a little bit more special by what I keep inside. So these, I'm not one to like put out the magazines we're in or really talk about them, but this is where I keep them. So they're all kind of tucked away, but anything that's been special for our company is placed in here. And so it's really like a wonderful little piece that we call the archive. So this is the archive. And on top of the archive chest, we have this great little bowl. Let me show it to you guys. So this is, some people call it a rose bowl. And on the top it has this silver frog. And so this silver frog is of course like to help hold stems in place. And I rarely find one that is of this size. So this was a piece I was excited to find. Now I'm going to move you about in here. You're going to notice on the walls that we have the applied molding that was brought up from the foyer. And, you know, it really just made the space, again, feel bigger and feel very interesting because I love to design walls, floors, and ceilings. And so my walls really captured a lot of the molding. And then on the floors, we did, again, the white to bounce light. But here I left it very plain. I did not want to pattern up here because I just felt the softness of the white was wonderful. We have this antique mirror that, again, I found on a buying trip in Atlanta. And so it's that oversized statement again that I think makes a space feel fantastic. We have a whole nother side that I will take you down to. So this will lead to the front of the house. At one point in time, we were going to turn this window into a pair of doors as we do have a structural balcony out there. We haven't gotten to that yet. So maybe one day, if not, we have been known to crawl out this window to sit outside on the balcony, my son and I. But we have it flanked with this beautiful vervain textile in this wonderful block pattern that I think feels so soft up here. This china hutch, which I have to show y'all, came from a company called the Resplendent Crow. The company takes vintage pieces and lacquers them. And so I selected my paint color and had this piece lacquered. And so what I have been doing with this cabinet is over time filling it with creamware and other white pieces that I just love and I find when I'm traveling. So these were a recent purchase. These darling little bowls. I found them so cute. I had to have them. And so I placed them in this cabinet. So this cabinet will be a work in progress over many years, which I'm okay with. You know, things happen in time, but it's a piece that I really love and fills the space nicely. You will see that I added sconces to flank the sides of the cabinet. So I have overhead decorative lighting, but to bring down some of those lower levels of light, I thought that a pair of sconces would be wonderful for in here. And you know, going back to like a decorative shade, I used this darling blue and white striped little floral pattern, which I think enhances the space nicely. So to really round out this space, I have this really great chair. I love the curves and the lines of it, and I had it recovered in this bold Pierre Frey textile. I think the pink is fabulous, and I love a really rich pink. So to kind of play out the vignette, y'all will see that I have these great pieces of art that are drawings of antique chairs. So I felt like this whole little vignette felt really lovely together and finished this side of the room. Another fabulous space that's very special to me is our winter room. So let's go in there. I can't wait to show you all that space too. Welcome to our winter room. So this is the only room in the home that has a name, and I love to tell the story of how it received its name. You all saw our sun porch, or our screened-in porch in the back, where I was saying that my son and I, a lot of times on the weekends, we wake up in the morning, we go down there, we snuggle. So when we were deciding what to do with this space, we felt like it could, one, be a guest room for our moms, because our moms do come and stay with us at times. But then my son said, Mama, it can be our winter room. It's where we will go snuggle in the winter when it's too cold to be on the porch. And so I was like, okay, we are calling it the winter room, buddy. Like, this is our space. So welcome to our winter room. This room really came about with regards to design after doing the Kip Space Show House last year. So this wonderful canopy that I have here was in our show house. And so I just felt like I needed to have it here. And what I love and find very interesting with this canopy bed is, traditionally, of course, you will see a bed coming out from a wall and not running parallel to a wall. But I felt like running the bed parallel gave the space more of a luxurious feel and was something unique and different. When we are in here reading or hanging out, my son and I really do, we love to look out the window, and we love just to talk about what's going on outside and see what's happening. And so it's been a really wonderful, cozy space. To further make it cozy, I really looked at the textiles. And so when I selected the textiles, I found this fabulous silk from Cowton & Tout in this blush. And I feel like blush is such a wonderful color to sit in because it enhances your skin, it makes you feel warm. And so it really added to the specialness of this space. One thing you guys are also going to notice is there are sconces inside the bed so that we can turn on special light in there. However, they are not just sconces, they are lamps. And the drapery kind of hides the fact that they're lamps, but it works out really well. So we've added some more lighting in that space. The little chair in the room is one that actually matches the chair downstairs in the living room. It's its friend, but I did it in this, again, this wonderful mustard color, and it's a velvet, and it's just, oh gosh, it just feels so soft and fantastic. And so sometimes I will come in here and sit. Biscuit also loves sitting here. So if this pillow is not here, you will find Biscuit running in and hopping on this and just sitting here and watching us as we come and go in the hallway. So he loves this room too. This marble table is something I found at a great antique shop called Foxglove Antiques. I saw it and I just said, it's the cutest thing, it's going with us, and I'm going to find a home for it. And so it landed here in this room next to the chair. I think they're the perfect size and scale. This is a great little chest. So this is actually from the Resplendent Crow, who did the same piece in my foyer. And again, I love that I could select my own coloring. This is Greek Villa. Done in a high sheen, and I think it's an absolutely beautiful color next to the original brass of the piece. I know one thing that really drew me to this was that the unique features of one type of hardware up here and one type of hardware down here, because I think it gives it a really warm feel. I keep some special items in here, and so this has been a good little piece. Outside of using this room as our guest room and snuggle room, I also do my hair and makeup in here every day. I love enjoying each space, and I find it to be really important to be able to go into the spaces that I've created and spent so much time making wonderful for us. So I do my hair and makeup in here every day. I'm going to show you this charming little chair. So again, my love for Pierre Frey did not stop downstairs. I found this wonderful textile from them, and I had this super cute little skirt made for the Chiavari chair, topped it with a cushion, and you'll see the little back detail with a wonderful ruffle at the bottom just to make it extra special. I also use a textile again on the shades. I don't do it to every shade, but I think there are some shades that are really special when you have that detail. And so I loved this pink and white stripe against the floral textile that I have on my walls, which actually you guys might be interested in that. So I find like wall coverings are great, like actual paper coverings, but you can really use any textile as well. You just have to have it backed, and then you can make it a wall covering. And so if you were to feel my wall covering, you would notice that it is a textile that was backed. And I think just the fact of having that weave on the wall really warms the space up. So I think it's been a fun little detail in this space. I have to show you guys one more thing in this space. This is Kip. And his full name is Kip the Whip. So he was, again, a part of our show house in Palm Beach. And because it was called the Kip's Bay, his name was Kip. And because he's a whip, so the whole thing, it was really cute. But Kip had to come home with me. After he had a name, I couldn't leave him. I felt like I was leaving a child in Palm Beach. So I'm like, Kip, you got to come home with me, buddy. And so he is here now, and he sits in this room and watches over us when Biscuit is not in here watching over us. Well, Homeworthy, thank you so much for coming to tour my home with me. I have very much enjoyed sharing it with you. Until next time, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.